What's going on, guys? It's Justin here with Summit Racing, and we've made our way out to Kearney, Nebraska to tour BluePrint engines. Let's go inside for a quick little tour and show you guys this slick setup. So we've made our way inside and we're here with my buddy Kel, and he works here at BluePrint and he's gonna show us all sorts of cool stuff. So thanks for having us out. We're really excited.
Absolutely, Justin. We're excited to have Summit Racing in the building today. We're gonna show you how we design, build, and test every single engine.
Oh, I am so excited. Let's get this thing started.
Absolutely.
So we're here with Bill, who's the Director of Engineering here at BluePrint, and he's gonna start us off in the production process. So Bill, tell us what we have going on behind here and how this all starts.
Yeah, so you're in our CNC department where we start with a raw casting. So we design, source our own casting so that we can maintain our own quality control over these. And they come in and we have behind us a 5-machine CNC cell. The operators will load the blocks in here, the raw castings, and they will go through those 5 operations. And in those 5 operations, they're doing different things in each of those. And out will come a completely machined block.
Now, what makes you guys different in your manufacturing process compared to other block manufacturers or the OE?
I don't know that our process is a whole lot different. Really, where our blocks are different is in the design of the block itself, where we've made improvements to oiling, where we have priority main oiling, other improvements that we make in the design itself. But the process is going to be similar to any other OE.
When you guys put one of these blocks in the machine, what's the runtime on it and how long does it take till it's ready to the next process?
So the operator can load multiple blocks in there. So again, the system that you see behind us will store multiple castings in there. The machine is automated to actually pull those out and load into the CNCs when they're ready. Once a block is started, it's about 2.5 hours to completely machine the block start to finish.
How many people does it take to run it?
You can run the machine on one shift with 3 people. And those are tool setters and operators that load and unload the machine.
Now, with BluePrint machining their own blocks in-house, can I just buy a BluePrint block or do I have to buy a complete engine?
So I don't think we have that option available today, but it's coming. So we have a block that we're actually working on for Summit, a private label block, and then there'll be some available through other private label projects as well.
This is a super cool part of the process. Let's move on and see what we can get into.
Sounds good.
We've made our way over here to some new machines you guys have, and these are gonna do something similar to where we just were, but a whole lot faster, correct?
Yeah, so same process as what we saw with our other line. We'll do it quite a bit faster, which gives us more capacity. It's got some better technology, so Makino's latest machines, really the goal is to increase that capacity, allow us to do more blocks. So we'll be able to do our new Ford blocks, our new LS blocks, we'll bring our big blocks in-house, and all of the small blocks that we use today.
Now, this machine has a lot of automation to it, and touch a little bit on that and how it's changing your process.
Yeah, so the technology allows us to run what's basically called lights out. So the operators can load the machine fully, say at 10 o'clock at night, it'll run all night with nobody here. It's got tool crash detection, things like that. And they come back in at 6 o'clock in the morning and be able to unload everything that was run and reload for the next round. It's all computer controlled, so again, the programs exist. As long as there's no crashes, it's good to go.
So let's make our way over to the engineering department and check out some of the cool stuff you get to do all day.
Love to share that with you. Let's go.
Heck yeah. So we're over here in engineering, and Bill's gonna run us through what it takes to design a BluePrint engine block. So you guys use new blocks, not remanufactured?
That's right, we're using new engine blocks that we've designed here in-house with our engineering team and developed at our own foundries that we selected.
Now, with coming from remanufactured blocks to new ones, did you guys identify some issues with old, OE blocks and made improvements on your own?
Absolutely. So when we sit down with our design team, we'll go through and discuss issues that we've seen, and maybe customer complaints with the original block design or engine design, and we try to put that into consideration and design a better block.
Now, what was the big push to go from remanufactured blocks to your own blocks?
Norris saw a transition in the market happening and realized that and basically took the risk and invested in that and our future to do that. So.
Now, how long has BluePrint Engines been designing their own blocks?
So we've had a dedicated engineering staff here for about 12 years. We first started developing our first block before that, so we've had a block for almost 15 years now.
Now, looking at this isn't your regular block. This thing's actually 3D printed. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so again, part of our design development process. So one of the things that we learned along the way was that we might design a part and send it off to the foundry to be developed, and that time frame to do a fit and function and understand if our design was going to work with mating components or maybe performance-wise could be months to years, and having the 3D printer turns that into days. So like this block, for example, we were able to print that in about 15 days. So we've got something in hand that we can bolt mating parts up to and find interferences. In some cases, we've been able to actually put it on a dyno for a short period of time, not the block, but other components. So.
You guys must have a really large 3D printer to be able to print some stuff like this. Now, I understand you have something printing right now. Can we go over and check that out?
Yeah, let's do that.
Heck yeah, let's go. Before we head over to the 3D printer, we're actually gonna stop and check out some of the cool parts that you guys have printed. So there's all sorts of neat things like this camshaft here, and it certainly saves a lot of time for you guys versus sending stuff out to get it casted, come back and change it. So tell us a little bit about some of the stuff you have sitting out here.
Yeah, so this is a snapshot of some of the things that we've designed in the last 12 or 15 years of having an engineering department here. We designed in-house almost 1,500 components, so quite a bit of different parts. Everything you can imagine that goes into an engine or even outside of the engine. You know, one of the great examples here of a complete engine, this is almost all 3D printed parts. You can see a few of the metal parts that we've used to help validate the design. Things that we didn't need to design that we could source already in existence. And then as you see, different engine components, whether it be for our small block, our big block, or even our Ford product.
Yeah, and this thing is, like, it has rods, pistons, a crank, and it actually...
Yeah, it's a fully functioning, I mean, you can imagine if it was actually running, so.
Yeah, that is amazing. And then you have some other stuff out here, like this manifold. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so it's another example of showing the life cycle of our design and development. So we've gone from design to a 3D printed part that we had available in days to validate with, to our finished cast product, which we use in production and took maybe 6 to 8 months to get.
Yeah, and that is truly the neat part about 3D printing is you're saving a bunch of time. Just you guys will be able to make more parts versus sitting around waiting.
Yeah, it's invaluable to our process. I mean, without it, I don't think it would be 1,500 pieces that we've designed. It might be only 200.
Yeah, well, let's walk over and check out where all the magic happens.
All right.
This is the 3D printer.
Yeah, so what this is doing is laying down a really small bead of ABS plastic. So think about your basically hot glue gun on steroids. So it's melting that plastic, not completely, but just enough so that it's pliable. It'll lay down about a 3/1000th of an inch layer and build those parts up until we have something that we can work with.
I can't wait to see what the finished product's done and what you guys are printing.
All right.
R&D is a massive task to take under. So to go from concept to cast, how do you guys do it?
Yeah, so once we have the concept, we sit down with our design team and we basically lay out what we call in scope or out of scope for the design. And once the designer has that information, he will go into SolidWorks, which is what we use here, and start creating that 3D model. Once we have a CAD model, we'll validate those designs. We'll have some design reviews with our teams. We'll go over those features, make sure they're what we all envisioned, and from there we do our 3D print. In this case, not only have we done a form, fit, and function where we've bolted it to the engine, this one is actually run on a dyno for a short period of time, so certain components can withstand the heat. This one was one of those. So once we've done that, we've done form, fit, and function. We've done a test in the dyno itself to prove that performance is where we need it. We're happy with the design. The designer will then create drawings that we can go to our foundries or our machine shops and have that part actually made. So then it'll go out for a quoting process. We'll have a team review that to get pricing that we want, and we'll release it to those companies that will make the parts for us. And depending on what it is, something like this intake manifold, in about 6 months we'll have the first pieces, and we will do final durability on them, and we'll go into production after that.
Man, that's really fascinating to think, we don't think about as, as buying car parts, how much stuff is behind it. And you guys really do a great job of putting out a really quality product. Can we walk around the engineering department some more and explore?
Absolutely. We've got some other toys that we like to have fun with too.
So. Oh, I can't wait to see.
All right.
Now, Bill, after you guys have gone through R&D, proof of concept, making parts, and you have a part in your hand, tell us a little bit about the durability testing to make sure that part's going to have a long life. and it's a good quality part that BluePrint does here. So we have this kind of crazy machine behind us. Do you want to elaborate on it and what it's doing?
Yeah, so you talk about durability, that's really what we're trying to achieve here. So this is basically testing what would represent 100,000 miles on a crankshaft. So this particular crankshaft is a cast crankshaft with what is called rolled fillets in the rod journals. So those rolled fillets, it's a process that just applies an extreme amount of pressure to the steel and hardens it. And it's actually stronger in those corners there than a forged crankshaft would be. To validate that, we use this device, which there's not very many of them around the world, so we're very proud of that. But it's basically tuning forks attached to a section of the crankshaft that is excited to a certain frequency. And what that is doing is basically duplicating the bending moment of the crankshaft when it's under pressure in the cylinder, when the combustion happens. And we do it for 10 million cycles. Again, that represents about 100,000 miles on the engine. And it takes about 24 hours to run the test. And what we're trying to achieve is that to not crack in that journal, which will prove that we've got a good quality crank.
Heck yeah, and so this thing's vibrating at a kind of a crazy frequency.
Yeah.
Can you show us that? Man, that's wild to think. I love science. Now, Bill, tell us a little bit about why you guys put all this extra time and money into engineering a better cast crank.
Yeah, so what this allows us to do is have a lower cost point for the product that we're selling to our customers, but also achieve a stronger crankshaft than we might see with just a standard cast crank. In some cases, it may not be as strong or stronger than a forged crank. In some cases, it is. So again, it just allows us to have that strength to get more horsepower out of the engine, save money. Part of what we do with this is not only just validate the design of the crankshaft initially. As we receive batches from our supplier over time, we will inspect so many of these cranks with this machine. So this machine's almost constantly running, but it's part of our validation process to again ensure that we're always getting a good quality product that goes into our engines day in, day out.
This machine is super cool, and I can't wait to see some of the other neat things here in engineering.
All right.
Let's go. Bill, you guys have tons of precision measuring equipment around here. You have to be precise in this when you're building engines. So tell us a little bit about the machine behind us and what it's doing.
So this is our CMM, or coordinate measuring machine, and it allows us to be really precise. So it'll measure up to millionths of an inch. So it allows us to validate our designs if we have a part that we can load on here. We validate our suppliers when we first start with new parts, and then as well as incoming inspection. And as we saw earlier, when we have a block in our CNC, we're doing spot inspections. So we'll bring those in at the beginning of a run and the end of a run to validate that our CNC equipment is operating to desired specifications all the way through the run. So what we have here is one of our blocks that we've CNC'd in-house. It'll go through and perform an entire inspection, and it'll spit out a report that we can analyze and determine whether the block's good or bad.
Now, how long does it take for this machine to, say, measure that block?
To do a complete inspection of this block is about 2 to 3 hours. So if you were to do this with hand tools, it would take days.
Yeah, and that's a lot of time saved, and the precision is unmatched.
Right. Yeah, next we're going to take a look at our laser spectrometer, which allows us to understand the chemical composition of our components when they come in.
Ooh, I can't wait to see it. Let's go check it out. So we've moved over and we're here to check out another cool tool, and this thing is actually really neat and does a really cool task. You want to tell the folks about it?
Yeah, so this is our laser spectrometer, and what it allows us to do is understand the chemical composition of the parts that we're working with. So we are able to validate our incoming components from factories that we've sourced, or when we're designing a new part and we want to understand the part better, maybe something we haven't worked with previously. We can go to the like part and we can shoot it with this gun, and it'll tell us the chemical composition. So it's a really basic and quick process. So what it's doing is it's a laser that is burning the top layer of the metal, and the atoms rise as it's burning them, and as they fall back down, the device is measuring the speed of that drop, and it can determine what those atoms are and give us a chemical composition table. And based off of the library in this device, we can understand what this material is. So for instance, this one is 4340. It validates that that truly is what it is, and we've got the chemical readout. We can save that in a library, historic data, whatever it might be. We know what it is.
Now, before you had like this to test cranks like this, what was the process before? Did it take a lot longer?
Yeah, so we would have to send it out to a lab. Very expensive, very time consuming. It might take 10 days, might take 14 days, and now it's a matter of seconds and you have a result.
This engineering department has just been amazing, and I appreciate you taking the time, Bill, to show us around and nerding out with me, just blowing my mind all day.
Well, I enjoyed it. I hope everybody at home enjoyed it, and thanks for coming.
Yeah, you wouldn't mind if I like borrowed that to see if I could go test some things?